Kia ora tātou, welcome back to the Wargaming Den. Got some Kings of War coming up for the next wee while. Last weekend, or the weekend just been, was the annual No Surrender weekend in Christchurch, and I popped up there with my Abyssal Dwarfs for 5 games of Kings of War. Gordon, my regular opponent, couldn't make it this year, which meant someone else was going to be in the running for taking first place. He's won it the last 4 times in a row, so bit of a shame that he couldn't make it, but it did mean that someone else was going to be champion for the weekend. So I took the Abyssal Dwarves that I've been using lately. We'll have a look at the army list shortly. It finally managed its first win in about 7 attempts against Gordon recently. It's been kind of tweaked and fine-tuned, more tweaked than fine-tuned actually, but I'm happy with what I'd come up with. And in the first game it was coming up against Erics Salamanders. The mission was Invade, with, as usual, paying at 2,300 points. Let's have a look at the army list. And here we have my list. So I've taken 2 regiments of Immortal Guard with the Throwing Mastiffs and the Infernal Wardens, some crush one. I find these 2 a real solid core. Decimators, taken the Horde with the Blessing of the Gods. That comes with a highly recommended from lots of players. 25 attacks, re-rolling 1s to hit and re-rolling 1s to wound, is potentially quite deadly with steady aim and piercing 1. Abyssal Half-Breeds, what last minute change, Gordon recommended adding a troop with the Skirmishers boots, and really pleased with how they've gone in the last 2 or 3 games. Just added a bit more variety to the list. I've got just 1 mutated Mastiff hunting pack, again with a Throwing Mastiff there, a cheap chaff unit to try and protect the Decimators. Keeping these guys alive, the Decimators, is a core in the army. I've got a Hellfane who I call Varnock the Despised. He's on a 75mm base, defense 6, dash 18 nerve, nice solid center to support my dwarves. Then this was a late change as well. I added an Overmaster with the Wings of Honeymaze, the idea being that he could go after spellcasters, characters and war machines potentially, because he's got a 20-inch move. The Ironcaster with the Diadem of Dragonkind has been a staple for a while for me now. That's 18 fireball dice, 12-inch range, but if he's near the Decimators, that 1-2 combination is pretty nasty and can keep people at bay. These are probably 2 of the heavy lifters to a degree in the list. 2 Half-Breed Champions. They've got nothing on them. They're just the plain 145 points each, but just 16-inch range with 6 attacks, hitting on 3s with crush 2. They're really handy to get where I need them to go. And lastly, I had an Abyssal Grotesque Champion, speed 7, 7 attacks, 15-17 nerve, quite a high nerve, not cheap, 220 points, but found him really useful. And I'd actually dropped out the Grotesque Horde that I had been using to get this guy in, purely because I was using the Horde badly, so I thought he might be a bit more useful being on a smaller base. So it's not a very big army. I've got 13 units and only 21 unit strength. And here we have a shot from the when we all put our armies out on displays halfway through day 2. So this is the army. There's the Mastiffs, the Decimators, the 2 Immortal Guard. That's my Grotesque Champion. I use a Demon, my Half-Breeds, Regiments and Horde. Got the 2 Half-Breeds, the other characters. That is a Reaper figure that I use as Bazuzu, or in this case I've just used it as the Overmaster because the figure's got wings. Usually I just use a standard Abyssal Dwarf kind of figure, and that's my Hellfane there. So happy with how the army looks. Let's see how it performs in day in game 1. But first let's have a look at Eric's army. Eric and I have played the last 2 competitions I've been to, and they've both been good games, but I've ended up with wins from both of them. But I've never underestimated him as a player, or his salamander armies have always been pretty scary from my point of view. And this one is no different. We'll see in a minute, he's got a beautifully painted army, but I also think it packs a bit of a punch. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 regiments of Salamander Primes. 2 of them have got Crushing 2 with extra hand weapons. 2 of them have got Defense 5, Crushing 1. So what I'm hoping is to be able to hit the more lightly armed ones first with my decimators. Get rid of those, because as you can see down here, he's got 15 units versus my 13. I'm out dropped, but more importantly, he's got 31 unit strength. The mission is Invade, so you've got to get more unit strength over halfway than your opponent. So he's got more units. He's got 10 unit strength. That's a whole 3 regiments worth more than me. So I thought it was going to be a big ask, to tell you the truth. He's got a horde of unbloodied salamanders. These guys, again, I thought I'd target early with my shooting if I could. They've got 30 attacks. They've got nerve 20, 22, but they've only got defense 4, but they've got 4 unit strength. So if I could focus my decimators and my overcaster guy, I was hoping to be able to get them reasonably. The 2 regiments of ancients, they're the more elite salamanders. Defense 6, 12 attacks, dash 17 nerve. So they're a nice strong core. I really need to hit those hard if I'm going to deal with them. Fire elementals. I didn't know much about these before going into the game. Crushing 2, Pathfinder and Shambling. 9 attacks, defense 14, 9 nerve, 14 nerve, 5 plus defense, so quite tough. 2 little swarms of Ember Sprites as his chaff. Not many attacks, things like that, but they've got a shooting attack and they've got a dash 11 nerve, so I need to deal with those as well somehow. He's got a greater fire elemental, Fireball 18. He's got a Gekkotar Slasher, which he used last year as well with the Toxic Bolts. High nerve again, good defense, shooting attack, and also 10 attacks, hitting on a 3+, so it can do the damage. He's got a mage priest with a diadem of dragonkind. I think it may have elite with that fuel for the fire, possibly. Fireball 16 versus my Fireball 18. I've got 2 more Fireballs, so we'll see who's better. Mine's also got a higher nerve, I think. Battle Captain, another character to give... No, it doesn't give Inspiring, but it does give Pathfinder to heavy infantry, which means most of his guys near this guy aren't going to worry about terrain. And finally, he's got a Clan Lord on a Fire Drake, who is a pretty big, powerful dragon with 15 attacks, 17, 19 nerve, defense 5 again, crushing strength 2, so not too bad, but yeah, it's a lot of units in this list. He's going to out deploy me. He's going to deploy wider potentially, and I will struggle to deal with so much unit strength, I would think. And as I said, I've played this army before. It's beautifully painted. Eric's done a fantastic job. The only thing is, being Mantic models, I think they're pretty much all Mantic with his salamanders. I still struggle to figure out which ones are which at first glance. So I'm always going, which ones are these again, Eric? What are those ones? Is that the regular ones, or are they the elite? So the elite ones, are obvious, but in the midst of battle, I always keep losing track of them. And the other ones are a bit more obvious as well with their weapons. He's got the ones with shields and spears, and then he's got 2-handed ones at the back there. But yeah, beautiful looking army. Love this model back here. That's fantastic. Let's get on though, have a look at deployment. Okay, so I can't afford to really cover the whole table. I did throw a regiment out wide. That regiment was actually facing, I think it was a regiment with hand weapons and shield, a regiment with two-handed weapons, and also the elite lizard men. Most of my forces here in the center. I've got the Hellfane. I've got the dogs back there. That's the decimators, and I've got the Immortal Guard on either side. That's my troop back there, my grotesque champion, and the wizard is hiding back there. So I was hoping to use this terrain because my decimators can't shoot through the terrain, but I thought if I can get forward into it, it'll help protect me a wee bit, forgetting that he had that character with Pathfinder. And then down this side I had the other regiment and a half-breed champion. I think there's half-breed champion over there as well. There's one of his monsters there. Lots of lizard men through the middle. That's the flying creature there. His little chaff units, fire elementals here, lesser ones, and as I said, he's got 9 unit strength there to my 3. But he hasn't put much on this side, so I thought if I can whiz around here, I might be able to put him in a little bit of pressure, but we will see how things unfold. Now, for the first time on one of our comps, we were using clocks. I didn't take a great deal of photos as we were going. I was too busy playing. But turn 1, I've advanced onto the hill here. Eric went first. He's advanced that guy back there. There's an infantry unit here. Now, there's a big gap in here, which is where the Unbloodied Horde used to be, I think. So I think what's happened is I advanced my Hellfane here and blasted at them with 25 dice. It's the only thing that I can see why they're missing. So I must have rolled really, really well. I can't remember how it went. It was early on day 1, and but I know, yeah. So I must have got the Unbloodied Horde. Their nerve was pretty high, so but maybe I rolled a high nerve check. I can't quite remember, but there's got to be a reason why they're missing, and the only thing that was really in range was it would have been the decimators and potentially throwing mastiff, maybe. I can't quite recall. Doesn't look like the wizard is close enough, but he may have been. But this is over here. I didn't advance because there's 3 regiments onto 1. So I flew the overmaster here. The idea was who's going to come over this way and lend a hand. What I'd forgotten though is this guy actually flies and has a 20-inch charge range. So as you can see, he's well and truly in the charge range of the big flying thing of the salamanders. You can see I'm an expert on playing salamanders. I don't know what anything's called, so forgive me on that one. As we lead into turn 2 though, I didn't even think about the fact that he was going to be within charge range, but early days, we'll see what happens. Okay, turn 2. The salamander regiments are advancing over there, 2 onto 1 with support. The flying thing killed my overmaster, advanced past the Hellfane. That's my little marker to remember because I always keep forgetting his brutal. I must have taken a couple of plinking shots from these little guys. More guys advancing over here. Maybe actually there's my overcaster there, so he must have also hit that horde as well, because there's no way that shooting on 5s that these guys were going to do enough wounds. So it would have been 18 dice from him plus the 25 dice from him plus potentially 8 dice from these guys at that horde. But this is real danger, because he's just burst around my flank. Wasn't sure what to do there, but what I decided to do for next turn is charge these guys, which I don't think, as it turned out, was the smartest move that I could have made. But let's have a look and see how things unfold. And on the far left flank, I threw the half-breeds and the half-breed champion in against the primes, did 10 wounds and didn't kill them, but I did waver them. Meant that I was going to take a counter attack from this other unit here that I think may be primes. And yes, I charged in at the little sprite unit and didn't kill it, and then got enveloped from the flank, and they are crushing to those salamanders. So my poor little Hailfane got taken out by charging into a rubbishy 20 or probably 70-80 point unit. What I was hoping was to smash these guys. Only did 3 wounds by the looks of it, kill them, and then my overrun was going to take me up here out of their charge arc and possibly out of their charge arc, which would have been fine if I'd killed those guys, but only with 9 attacks. Wasn't guaranteed, didn't happen, and I got engulfed. So afterwards I was thinking, I should have just stayed back. Now this guy over here is critical to the way the game unfolded as well, because Eric needed, as it turned out, to have turned him to look down my line, and would have had me in all sorts of troubles. Forgot to do that, and that was a bit of a major mistake on his behalf. Right, just want to head back to turn 2 for a second, because I just remembered something. See these guys here? They're my decimators, 25 attacks. Now when it came to shooting, my overcaster shot, and I think he shot and did a couple of wounds. These guys were meant to shoot this unit of primes over here, and I completely forgot to shoot them. So that's 25 dice I didn't roll. So I was kicking myself the rest of the game, because I really needed to put some damage on those guys, and it wasn't to be. So that was a bit of a major foobar on my behalf. Okay, and the bottom of turn 3. So down here, the Immortal Guard and the Ancients are duking it out. I'm defense 5, he's defense 6. We're both hitting on 3s. I've got regeneration though, so it's going to be a real grind fest here, and I'm quite happy for that, because neither of us is going to really win it very easily. But just down here out of the picture, I've got my half-breed regiment and my troops. So I've got enough forces to come sweeping in now. He's stuck, to hopefully hit him on the flank. The Grotesque is charged in against the monster, forget what those things are called, and we're going to have a bit of a grind fest there potentially as well. In the middle, that's the Hailfane has gone. The primes have come in against the Immortal Guard over here as well, and he is chaffing up my decimators here as well. So Eric's got his elementals, the big ones facing that way. These guys are facing in this way, and he's also got some more primes or ancients ready to come in on this flank. But that's the critical mistake. Eric was kicking himself for the rest of the game, because this turn, this guy needed to turn this way to roll up this flank and help in here, and he forgot to do that until quite a way into my turn. So that was a big pivotal change, as it so happens for Eric. And up here, the other prime, the other are they primes have charged in against my half breeds, and can't see the number of wounds, but they have wavered them. That's okay though, because I've got fury. So in my turn, next turn, these guys are going to slide across and attack those ones, and hopefully the half-breed champion should be able to put a couple of wounds on the other regiment and deal with those. So it's still up in the air, but yeah, this is a bit of a big mistake by Eric in his turn right there. So turn 4. That guy's still facing the wrong way. Did Eric completely forget to move him? I can't quite recall why he's still facing that way. I know Eric was kicking himself for not having turned him earlier, but if he'd been facing this way, I was in a lot of trouble. 7 wounds on that unit of salamanders. My guys are grinding away. The decimators are shooting. Might have been the dogs, or it might have been a fireball from this guy at the at his caster. Not sure what's going on over there. That's his other battle captain guy, I think. I've wavered the other monster. I had the half-breed champion come in to help the grotesque, and the half-breed regiment charged into the flank of those high defense elite salamanders, and with the aid of the immortal guard, they've destroyed those. So happy with the way this side's going. I've cut through a lot of that unit strength, but it's still been pretty dicey. I would never have said that this game was a game that was under control. And these guys are over here. We need to get over halfway, so I'm not sure what they're doing back there. Regrouping, I think we'll call that. Let's have a look at the next turn. That was turn 4. Right, turn 5. This guy still appears to be facing the wrong direction. Or did he just help destroy the immortal guard with these guys, maybe? My decimators are still turning to face and shooting away. Up here, my half-breeds are now in the forest. I think what's happened is they've charged, hit that little spellcaster, and then turned to face these guys. But they are over halfway. Immortal Guard are moving over halfway, and I think they've charged the fire elemental. The grotesque is wavered, and the half-breed, but he's got fury, and the two of them have killed the salamander monster thing. So looks pretty good here. Then I've got a couple of units over halfway. Those half-breed troops seem to have disappeared, so they may have got shot by someone by the looks of it. Now, this is probably pretty decisive as well. I think these guys got up to 8 or 10 wounds at one stage. They're back down to 2 thanks to regeneration. And between them and the half-breed champion, they've actually killed one lot of salamanders and are now fighting against the other one, and actually have the advantage of our 16 attacks, crush 1, supported by 6 attacks at crush 2. So wasn't expecting this flank to go this way at all, but very happy with the way it's turned out, because but I am still on the wrong side of halfway, to be fair. I need to kill these guys. Absolutely love the brushwork on Eric's army. I'm not sure what these things he's got there are for, to remind him of something, no doubt, but the texturing on his main monster is awesome. Absolutely fantastic model, and the whole army. It was one of the 2 that was voted as best painted and lost on a dice roll to Rob's Empire of Dust overall. But yeah, it's an absolutely stunning army, and you can just see by the blending and the shading on this guy what a fantastic job Eric's done on the army. Okay, I think this is turn 6. Where have my decimators gone? They have been destroyed. I think it was a multi-charge from these guys. His Battlemaster guy is still there, but when it comes to unit strength, I think that's 2, 5, 6, 7 over halfway. Here I've got 3, 6, 7. So I think having my half-breeds on the other side is going to be very important. But there doesn't appear to be a fire elemental anymore, so he must have got finished off, and the hand of God on the table there. So it's going down to the wire. It's pretty close. I'm not sure which way it's going to go. Okay, and this is Eric's turn 6 maybe. He came charging in against the Grotesque Champion and didn't kill him, which meant I had a flank here, and I've also got the half-breeds. I was a bit surprised that he charged this way, because actually I think it was also dragging him back over halfway, but talking to him afterwards, Eric thought that that was his best option. He couldn't afford to just sit there. But to tell the truth, I wasn't going to go back over halfway. I didn't have the unit strength to do that. Even if I killed a unit, I just didn't fancy my chances. So I wasn't going to go back onto the other side and invade. You've got to get over halfway, and that's exactly where I intended to stay. So yes, I took care of his big creature. This is turn 7. None of my guys died. Those guys are over halfway, but it's not actually visible. But over here, my other regiment had dealt with that other Salamander regiment and advanced over here, which gave me 3, 6, 7, 10 unit strength. And I think Eric may have had 5, maybe 6 on my half, so ended up being a victory to the Abyssal Dwarfs. Wow, what a game. Really lucky to get away with a win on that one. Eric, I think, felt pretty disappointed not to have come away with the win, and for good reason. He played really well and was just very unlucky. Forgetting to turn this guy on, was it turn 2 or 3, till partway through my turn, was, I think, a critical mistake. My overmaster letting this guy in behind my lines was also a big foobar on my behalf, as was throwing my Hellfainer when I really didn't need to. Got lucky out on my right flank and managed to roll those units up, and on the left flank my half-breeds shouldn't have held up those 2 regiments as well as they did. I was very surprised that that turned out the way it did, and that probably was a bit decisive as well. But I think Eric was robbed of victory in that one to a degree. If the dice had bounced slightly differently, it well and truly would have been a game to him. But it was a great first round, and wish Eric all the best for the rest of the weekend. And I know he went on to have some good wins with his army after this one. So thanks very much, Eric, for the game. And yeah, next time I think you've well and truly going to crush the Abyssal Dwarves if we had a rematch tomorrow, I would think. But I look forward to playing you again next time there is something happening up in Christchurch. So all the best for the rest of the weekend.